Hello, friend.
Hey, Julia.
Welcome to my show. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It's been 4 years since I had Ashley Guy on, and it was with the JC and Friends series. But today I'm having her for City Clips. And for those of you who aren't familiar with it, City Clips is all about business and tech. And we are focusing on the North Florida region, highlighting all the success that local businesses have and as well as following the tech ecosystem and just reporting everything that's positive that's happening in our community. So thank you so much, Ashley, for joining me today.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Happy Hump Day,
Yeah, seriously. And Women
Wednesday.
Wednesdays. But yeah, so for those who aren't familiar, Ashley is CEO of Tallulah, a fast growing company all about like really within the cannabis industry. That's also a fast growing industry with all the challenges that come with that because it's brand new, really relatively new, I think, as an industry. And so it's really remarkable what you've been able to do in a short amount of time, which is one of the reasons why, obviously, that your business was featured on Inc. 5000. Congratulations. We're all about celebrating growth today and what you've done with the company. So tell me a little bit more. I know we talked about like why you started your business 4 years ago, but just going back again for those who might not have heard it before, why you started your business. And Tallulah is named after your daughter, right? I think I
Uh,
remember.
no, I
Okay.
just, at the time, I wanted a female name for a business and I Googled hipster girl names and Tallulah
Oh,
popped up.
oh my gosh, I must have heard that from a different story then.
I'd never
No,
had
but
a,
it
I don't
is a
have
pretty
a
name.
dog. Yeah, yeah. They always thought it was my dog's name or my daughter's name, but no.
Oh, I remember also too that you wanted to create an environment that was a little bit more like family friendly within this because everything else that was coming out at the time is like all these people with cannabis shops and things like that. It was just like it was still kind of new to everybody, right? But I think you've done a great job with branding and packaging it to make it approachable to the everyday person. So, and been an advocate for why it has worked for you personally and why it's also working for others. So, tell me more about why you think you've gotten so much success and growth after all these years, um, and and how you manage the business too. Because I know you talked about it earlier too. It's like there's several on the Inc. 5000 that they still can, for some reason, factor in revenue, but it isn't actually revenue. It could be an investment. Some have had investors, and yours is 100% owned, right?
Yes, 100% female, owned by myself, and I started Tallulah 5 years ago, just in September 19th, 2009, and it seems like just yesterday um, that I started the company. And I had just moved here from Seattle and I didn't quite know what I wanted to do. I was a teacher before and I didn't want to teach. And I had inherited a really small amount of money and I was debt free. So that just the little chunk of change really inspired me just to try something. So I started a store and I was going to do a juice bar in the very beginning, but it kind of morphed more into CBD. And one of my friends at the time, he owned a juice bar in Seattle that I loved called Zoe's Juice Bar. And he was like, you can't do CBD. It will ruin your juice bar. CBD has a bad stigma. And I chose to do the opposite of what he said. I chose to can the juice bar and to focus on the CBD. And to this day, when I receive advice from people, I often do the opposite of what they say because they're often wrong. So I love CBD to this day. I still have hands that hurt. It's getting colder. So I have a little arthritis. It's degenerative it comes from my dad. But so the CBD and CBG oil, I like the zero THC options. They really help my hands and they really help me so much even now. I'm so thankful for that and just helping people find more natural alternatives. And I think one of the reasons Tallulah has been successful is because Tallahassee is a great town to start in and to grow. And I haven't been afraid to just keep pivoting in the store. Now we're more of like a smoke shop, like a smoke shop of today. We're more of a smoke shop and a cannabis store than we are just a CBD supplement store. So we've morphed into that. And then I haven't been afraid to just keep scouting and keep growing and then listening to my own intuition, like what I think we need to move into. Like right now, I'm opening a love store on Mahan, so that's in the works, and that's a real pivot. We've carried love products in the past. We have them at all the stores, like a love section, but I thought that was another under met need in Tallahassee that I'm not seeing anywhere that I could do and I could do well. So it's going to be called Tallulah Love Shop. So that's a lot of fun. It's been a really fun ride, and just business is great. It's been good timing with business. You really want to have an idea that's not saturated. I mean, you can always go into something that is already heavily concentrated, like a coffee shop. But if you get into an area where you really see an unmet need, like I did in the beginning, like you said, a clean, friendly, healthy CBD store, then it can be easier to grow and to get customers because there's not a lot of options in town.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought this up too, because now you're at 7 stores and you're getting ready to add a few more. It's amazing and crazy at the same time. How are you doing it? You just had a baby. You have how many kids? You have 2. Okay. And so it's so inspirational that you have so much energy to be able to manage all of it. What has kind of given you also the confidence to open that many stores? Because even then, like, you got, this is not the same industry obviously with coffee, but there's beverages, but like you've got so many Starbucks all over town. For some reason, corporate sees that there is a need to have that many Starbucks shops all over town. And I speak to the manager, Sam, and he said, yeah, most of the stores are corporate owned and only a couple are private owned. And so, yeah, it's really kind of neat to see that they still see that there would be enough of a market, as small of a town as Tallahassee, or small of a city Tallahassee is. So why do you think you wanted to take that step or take on that challenge of having 7 stores?
Well, when you grow, it's free advertising, and people get excited by your growth. They're like, wow, what are they doing? And it's fun to grow. You're meeting different needs in the community. So with a smoke shop, we sell all sorts of things. We sell hemp-derived THC products. We sell trippy mushrooms. We sell vapes. We sell CBD products. We sell nicotine. We sell a ton of alternative beverages. We sell all sorts of products, and people don't necessarily want to travel 30 minutes across town to come to Tallulah. So you need to get your market share, and you need to be a first mover. So you want to get your territory before other people move into that space, so they have brand recognition. And then when they see your signs all over town, when they pass by your store, it's free advertising. So it's like the same concept I'm looking at with the love shops. I have one coming in on Mahan, but I'm already planning on different ones around town, just to build up the energy around the store and the products. And when you scale, you are able to buy products in bulk at a discounted rate, and the companies and the reps take you more seriously. They give you better pricing, and you're more respected in the industry too. And it's important, really. Tallahassee is so spread out. It's not like in Seattle, where I'm from. I'm from Olympia, Washington, and it's like there's 2 areas, downtown and the west side. There's 2 spots you would have a store. In Tallahassee, there's still room for me. I have not saturated this market yet. So I'm still growing in Tallahassee, and that's really important for businesses to to think about. It's really easy. They say, oh, why don't you go into Jacksonville, or why don't you travel? And I am going into Port St. Joe, but that just made a lot of sense in Port St. Joe because it's seen so much growth. People from out of town, out of state are moving into Port St. Joe. It's had tremendous growth. There's a lot of vape users, and there's no smoke shop in that town. So that made a lot of sense with that. But as far as that, and I enjoy the drive to Port St. Joe, I enjoy being by the beach. But the other locations in town, there's just still even room for me to grow more stores in Tallahassee, because as soon as you start to grow out of your city, you don't want to lose focus on the business. It's easy to be like, okay, I need to book my hotel in Jacksonville. I need to do all these logistical things. And then you lose sight of what you're actually doing in your what focused. You need to be focused on the business itself, not on focused on, getting around. And so I really think that's been part of the success too, is building up the brand inside Tallahassee, having the billboards, having the stores, sending out the mailers, being active in networking groups, just really trying to hit Tallahassee and hit it hard. We do really well in Thomasville, Georgia, but there's also not another competitor there. There's a few smoke shops, but we've done really well in Thomasville, Georgia. So just strategically choosing where I want to be, and then not being afraid, because when I do open a new store, it is very scary. It's not like I don't have fear, because each new store is at least $125,000 to open. The store sign, the cases, the new floor, the everything you have to do, the products, the window decals, the advertising. There's a lot that goes into a new store. So it's not like it's without, you're definitely scared when you open a new store, but it is worth it. And then when you get the store all set up and you've paid off the debt to do that, or you paid down the credit card, then you have a lot more revenue coming in. So it's better in the long run to do that. And I've really focused on building up my team. And in the beginning, I honestly thought I could do it all myself. The first few years, I didn't know how to lead a team. I didn't know how to retain employees. But because I've built up the brand in Tallahassee, the team is excited to work for Tallulah. They're like, what's next? They're going to Vegas for shows, for trade shows. They're doing all sorts of exciting things. So they love the brand too, and they're energized. And I just focus now these days working behind the scenes, just finding new talent and training and building up our leadership team, which is actually about 15 women now who are well paid, and they run the respective stores, and they do different tasks to help me. I have a personal assistant now who helps with my daughter and helps me with behind the scenes stuff. And I just have a lot of people in different roles, but each person in a leadership role at Tallulah did start at the bottom, the grounds, and then they've worked their way up. I haven't hired anyone in some kind of big executive role from outside. It's all been mainly just people in town who started with us, sold for a while, and then just decided to stick around and be part of the team.
That's awesome. And that's another big challenge for local businesses, or just businesses in general, is to retain talent. Like for young people to want to stay and, develop, they personally develop well. You've done an amazing, tremendous job with that. And so that is a success in itself, that they would stay and be a part of your leadership. So there's a lot that people can learn from you, like literally at some point. So I'm sure you're still planning. It sounds like you still want to grow beyond the Tallahassee market. Are you planning on doing something where you might want to franchise this thing out, or like, this is more of a curious question, is what is your plan for this?
I don't want to, I don't want to franchise, and I'm just looking for opportunities as they present themselves. So really organic growth. When I was I go to the Tallahassee Chamber Conference in Amelia Island every year. I heard them mention Port St. Joe a few years back. and that put that on my radar. So I'm really just like listening, reading the newspaper, just ready for opportunities as they present themselves, wherever that might be, and then respecting my own time and where I would like to visit too and be. But definitely right now I'm more focused on, well, Port St. Joe is opening, and three of my leads here are moving to Port St. Joe, and we have a company apartment out there. So they're going to manage the whole store. These three amazing women who each work full time. They're moving out there. That should be a good, we're really set up for success with that store already. It's going to be a kava bar model. And then right now I'm looking for more locations in Tallahassee. There's still areas where we could be for Tallulah stores. And then I'm also working on my love shop concept and getting that around town too, and in different markets. So that's really where I'm at. I'm not interested in franchising. That would be a whole nother language I would have to learn. I'm not really interested in that. And I go to enough conventions in Vegas for the cannabis show. And if you're going to franchise, you really have to go to all these conventions and have a booth and spend so much money on a booth. And it's a lot of money to learn the whole franchising and legal work. And I think what we're doing now is fine. Sometimes you can lose a lot of money. When you take a risk, you have to be sure. So really the new risks are for us, for me, are opening stores and then finding the latest and greatest products. Like, for example, right now, Mad Honey is really hot. So it's an actual honey from a certain area of the world that gets you high. So that's really hot, and people are loving that. It's a lot of fun. And then 7-hydroxy 7-OH. It's like another form, a pure form of kratom that's selling really hot. People are loving that too. So just staying current on the latest products.
Cool. And I know you are very selective with your products. Like, you only get high quality products, and I mean, obviously these are legal products that are available on the market. And so and I wanted to mention and highlight like some of the memberships that you're already a part of. Was that a big factor on your initial growth? Like, because you were really good. I think you were I feel like I see you everywhere at a lot of events, and you're great at networking. And we talked about how like you're kind of introverted, and I would never have guessed.
Yeah, I like to spend time alone and read books and walk, and that's what I prefer. But I think networking's been important, but I don't think it was the reason for our success in Tallahassee. I think it's more than that. I think to succeed, it's a combination of everything. So, because most of our customers are still men, and I think 70 to 80% of our customers are men, and they're men who have a disposable income, and they're trying different products, or they're vaping, and they're coming in every week. So that's kind of why we've been successful more so, is that we're in a location close by where they work or where they live, and then they come by every week just to get something that they want. And that's really the success. The networking groups in Tallahassee do help with word of mouth. So in town, you really want people to be mentioning your name, your business name. So that helps. But networking alone isn't always everything. You have to be in the right location in Tallahassee. I've seen businesses fail all the time because they're so concerned about, I can't find a good spot to move into for my store, or the rent is too high. When I find a location I want, I know is not an answer. I'm going to get that space, and I'm going to pay extra for it if I'm competing with someone else. And I do every time. You just have to outbid. And if you want to be in a certain area and you find the right spot, you just have to go for it quickly. People, I think too, in the business community in town, people ponder a lot in their head, and you have to know the difference between acting quickly and decisively, or just, ruminating for too long and missing out on an opportunity, because you want to be the first mover in a spot. You want to have the best, fun, most interesting products. You just need to really be with it. And I've learned more. I have a coach I talk to every week on the phone. She's remote somewhere in the U.S. and she just helps me, to talk. And I really listen to my gut more with employees too. We are able to get. I sponsor jobs on Indeed now, and that's worked. That's working currently for us. I only to get new hires. I recruit around town. This new hire we had, I recruited her from Starbucks just recently. She's been great. She didn't want to work at Starbucks anymore. And now she's a lead at Tallulah. And I saw her sell to me at Starbucks. And I was like, can you work for Tallulah? And she came over. So recruiting that way around town. But then Tallulah's only on Indeed. And then I sponsor Indeed now. And I do the most expensive one. And that's how I get the best people for my demographic, what I'm looking for. Most people who work for Tallulah are between the ages of 21 and 28. So that's really our culture is, younger employees. We do have an older one, but she, who's my age, but she's right below me, and she helps manage all of the leads as well. So really recruiting is important. And then we had an employee this week. She started with us. She had 2 shifts and she was just too shy, scared to talk to customers. That's what they told me. We tried her at 2 locations. Both the leads there were like, this girl is afraid. She's scared. She's afraid to talk to customers. So I just had to take her off the schedule, and she didn't work out, but I made a decisive decision. I didn't wait for her to blossom into some super sales woman. If she's not able to talk and connect to customers, I wish her the best. I try to find other roles for them to do. We're opening a warehouse. So if they have an analytical brain and they can organize things, I will try to transition people into other roles that fit their personality better. But we're never trying to fight someone's nature. And I'm not trying to develop new employees. I will get a good salesperson in there, and then maybe they'll move up into a lead. But that's also been really important, is to not fight things. We have so many job applicants. We'll try them out sometimes too. And if they're able to connect with customers and customers like them, then they have a good place at Tallulah. But that's important too, because if you have the wrong employees at the stores, nobody will come in. They don't want to chat with them. It's a recipe it's the opposite of successful. So you just really need good employees, and you don't always know in the job interview if they're gonna be what is best for your brand.
That's great. And that's the other thing, like you were saying, I think a lot of people spend too much time thinking about things or just talking about it and not really making an actual decision. Decisions is what make things move and helps get things done, really. So I really like how you know what you want and you're not afraid to take those risks and you're willing to pay. That's the other thing. Most people won't want it. They don't want to invest and they don't want to put money towards certain things to get to the next level. So really, really cool to hear you talk about this. I can't believe it's been 4 years since we last had you. So and I can, like I said, 30 minutes fly by, but I wanted to ask you too about, so I'm glad you touched on the decision-making process and giving us that advice. What was the process like for awards? Like what eventually you came to realize like, oh, I actually could qualify to win some of these awards. Like, did your coaching encourage you to do this, or you just thought, oh, I'll just give it a try? Because I see that you also have been featured on the Women's Edge in the top 100 women for Florida, and then Inc. 5000, of course.
Yeah, I just noticed these awards myself. Nobody really tells anybody about awards. I tell people now, other women who I think might qualify, I remind them, but nobody's really thinking about awards. But it's really good advertising, and it's good to see where you're at. So it's like free advertising. But I found out about top 100 woman-led businesses in Florida through the Tallahassee Women's Magazine. Last year, they featured the 2 companies in Florida, in Tallahassee, that made the list. So I saw that in the magazine and I was like, oh, I should apply for this next year. So I just waited and got on the email alerts, and then I applied for that award, and I won, and that was great. They really look for businesses that are traditionally that are in industries that are traditionally male dominated. So smoke shops are one of them. And I was excited. Really, it just excited me to win that award. And then now I'm in some groups with all the winners that are helpful to me. And I'm learning a lot from those groups. And then the Inc. 5000 list, I just heard about that. I don't know how I heard about that, but I applied, and this is the first year I was eligible to apply. You have to have a spread of 3 years, and they check your growth. So they looked at our growth from 2020 all the way up until 2023, I think it was, and we had a huge amount of growth because of the stores opening. And it's also pretty good too, because most of those businesses on Inc. 5000 are on the internet or internet based. And I haven't been selling on the internet. We don't sell on the internet. We just have stores. So it's been really exciting to see that and to win that award. The Inc. 5000 list too, I think 78% of winners are men. So there's not a lot of women. Entrepreneurship is still dominated by men. So it was great to see that, and to be number 1 in Tallahassee, and then number 11 in retail in the whole country, because retail is really hard to do, and that's a store. And we have retail items that are cannabis, hemp and different things, but it's really hard to succeed and to grow in retail. It's a lot of products are expensive to buy, versus if you have an online company and you're advertising for people, or you're doing something web based, you don't have to buy products, and you're just taking in all the revenue, because you have a just like what you do. It's you don't have a lot of overhead, except for
Yeah.
subscriptions, different things, little things. But to run a whole store is really expensive. The utilities, the electricity, the internet, the insurance, to hire the employee wage, it's just a lot to run a store for retail. So that the awards are really exciting, and I encourage anyone to apply for any award they can. There's a lot of other awards that were on my radar that I still want to apply for. I just haven't had time to, but there's a bunch of awards out there to apply for, and then to use that to your advantage. I know, like, Capital City Bank advertised one of their awards, but it's really good.
It is great PR. Like, I mean, it's just great. Little bragging rights. It's good to be recognized once in a while. I mean, you put in so much hard work and money, and also time in other people. It's not just about you. Obviously, it's about recognizing the company. And so, you were ranked 505. It says here, of 5,000, and it's really cool that I'm glad you highlighted the 11th rank for retail, because, like you said, retail is. There's a reason why I didn't go into retail. It is one of the hardest types of businesses to enter into. So it is tremendous what you've been able to do, even without online sales. Really, like, that's not your focus. So I guess, what would your advice be then to those in town who are trying to grow a brick and mortar? Because sometimes people try to grow traditionally, they outsource, that sales and marketing. I think you've pretty much owned it, right? You do you take ownership in both sales and marketing, and you manage it. You manage your finances, right? And so I think that's why you've grown so well. And then you've got a rare product, or you've got your sales, unique sales for a demand in the marketplace that, even for a small city, is pretty impressive. So what would your advice be to other brick and mortar traditional businesses?
Yeah, you just need to leverage your money in the right way too. So, like, I take the revenue I'm making for one store and then I'm moving that into opening another store. So I'm not taking a lot from myself. I didn't pay myself until year 3 or 4, and then I didn't take that much. I'm just now really paying myself. So I really leveraged my money well, and I do a lot myself. I For my marketing, I do a lot myself, and then I have a student. FSU is a great place to get students to help you with different things. So I use that a lot. I don't hire all these big positions for these big roles. We do have a strong leadership team now, but that was more of organic growth, and that's really come. But I also look for undermet areas in the market. So if I'm opening a store, it's got to be something that I think is going to make money. I think a lot of businesses just open something that's a hobby, and then there's not an actual demand. And even if there is a small demand, it's not enough to make enough money to keep a brick and mortar going. So it's got to be a really good product that's going to sell, that you're really confident. And then I would look for something that is not already being met in the marketplace. So like you can get any idea. You can see successful people like coffee shops, and then you're like, oh, I want to do a coffee shop. I'm passionate about coffee, but the market is already oversaturated, and it's going to be really hard to break in, and you got to find an area in that marketplace to offer something a little different. So I think the reason we've really succeeded is that I did more of the smoke shop model and high quality CBD stores. And then I've opened 3 of the stores have kava bars. I have a kava bar lounge, and people still in Tallahassee don't know what a kava bar is, even though, in Tampa, there's 100 kava bars. So that's another area I saw in Tallahassee that was not met. There was a need. And then the love shop now too, I'm moving into that. So just really finding things that I'm not personally interested in. I mean, the love shop's great and the kava bar is great. I love those things, but it wasn't like I was super passionate about a kava bar and a love shop. I saw unmet areas, and because I see an opportunity there now, I'm really excited about those industries and building up that. So it wasn't like I had a hobby of golf that I loved or swimming and then I made that into a business. I looked for unmet areas. I didn't know what I didn't go to a smoke shop before I opened one. I saw places that I didn't know anything about, and that I saw an opportunity, and then I learned, and now I'm really good in those areas, and I'm really excited about those areas. So just finding things that you that are not yet completely met the demand. That's how you can open a brick and mortar. But just doing something that everybody else is doing, another food shop or another restaurant, it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, restaurants are struggling in many ways. That's the other thing. You really have to have like a unique, like a menu, I guess, to drive. If you're very authentic with your ingredients and everything else, that's what will draw people to want to come, and the ambiance too. That's what I would give advice to restaurants. But it's really true, like you said. I mean, cost of living is starting to go up. Commercial space is going up, but you're willing to take the risk and invest. And it's really impressive what you've done here in this, what they call big town, small city of Tallahassee. And so I'm sure you're busy. I'm sure you're slammed. I want to respect your time. Is there anything you'd like to highlight that's coming up? Any events you'd like to promote? Would love to make sure that everybody follows you. We have your website that we've been sharing. Following you on Instagram, going to your website, go stop by at one of the shops. Y'all should meet Ashley. She's super approachable, and congratulations on all your recent success.
Thank you so much for having me, Julia. We get all decked out for Halloween. So we have a lot of fun things going. If you pop into the stores, you'll get a free skull squishy, and the stores are really decked out and a lot of fun. So this is a great month to visit. And then through the holidays, people get pretty stressed out and they start to gain weight too. So we have a lot of good products for stress. And then THCV is really good for appetite suppression. People always forget in cannabis, they think everything is going to give them the munchies, but THCV does the opposite. It takes away your appetite, and it's a very mild high. So it's accessible to many. So that's fun. So just come see us through the holidays if you get stressed, and come check out all of our fun, spooky stores right now. Thank you for having me. You're doing such a good job. Always good to have you as a friend and to see you around.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'll also put in a plug for Impact Week because you're going to be on there. You're one of the key speakers, keynote speakers. Yes. So for those of you who don't know, Impact Week is just around the corner, November. Ashley's going to talk about her story, I'm sure. And we got some tremendous speakers lined up. The folks Critical Business Group and the founders of Impact Week have already lined up so many talented people in town. I highly recommend checking out the website, impactweek.tlh.org. There's tickets, and then also Rich, one of the co-founders, offered to give a ticket to those who sign up through CityClips. So obviously it's a giveaway. It's not a free gift. So you have to sign up for CityClips, and they're going to help us promote it as well. So thanks to those at Impact Week, and thank you, Ashley. I will go ahead and sign up for today. I'll see you on the other side. Bye, guys. See you next time.